Good morning. Saylor is on a buying spree and is about to buy another $700 million of magic number go up internet money. Welcome to the Bitcoin news with the fast facts. It is a glorious day. We do have Bitcoin at 57K. Maybe it's a day to buy. We'll dive into it. We are 2 days away from the start of the false mating. Good morning. A face melting rip. It's not going to happen straight away, and we'll dive into it and why. Bukele has basically told the IMF to go hunt ducks. They aren't coming for their dirty fit. Free speech is still under attack, especially here in Australia, but just let's dive straight into the signal. MicroStrategy announced proposed private offering of $700 million of convertible senior notes. It's Bitcoin news. Just in. Bitcoin magazine, MicroStrategy to raise $700 million to acquire additional Bitcoin. We will dive into it, but Adam back here, go ahead and sell Saylor cheap Bitcoin. Recall, he's using up the next $900 million of at-the-market share sale approval at present, currently. 900 on top of 700, $1.6 billion. Let's get it. I own some MicroStrategy, so not like I care, but still, it seems cheap. Carl B mentioned the Bitcoin S-curve adoption, MicroStrategy style. MicroStrategy is now hodling 1.17 of the total Bitcoin supply. Up and to the right. Shout out to everyone watching live, watching the replay this morning. Hopefully you're having a grand and glorious day. Check out that chart. Hopefully your Bitcoin balance looks exactly like that, maybe not to that scale, but what proof of work MicroStrategy has put in with the adoption from Michael Saylor. Now, Peter Schiff, he's actually sending some signal here. The Fed, they're about to prove it learned nothing from its past mistakes. On Wednesday, we'll cut interest rates despite the fact that rates are still too low. This will be followed by a return to QE, another repeat mistake that will engender more debt and send consumer prices soaring. Really good. For Bitcoin number go up, gold's probably going to go up, real estate, everything's going to get way more expensive very quickly. And it's going to happen for the rest of our lives. In my opinion, there will be cycles where the money contracts, but that's happened. That's behind us. What's happening in 2 days' time? I think that's the start of the next major catalyst for the next 6, 12, 18 months, potentially. Now, Foss, chiming in here. Wow, discipline. Bitcoin magazine. President Bukele announced that El Salvador will no longer borrow external debt to finance its budget. The way I read that, and I haven't said it bluntly, but Bukele, in my opinion, is telling the IMF to go find ducks. That's what I read from there. We're going to dive into it a bit deeper, but this is really interesting. Bhutan now holds $780 million worth of Bitcoin. I believe they got all this Bitcoin from using geothermal energy and mine it, and it cost them very, very little. Absolutely incredible. Well done, Bhutan, on doing that. Now, Ross Ulbricht, this is a little bit sad, maybe a message for anyone out there. The law is insidious. It will get you. Try to do the right thing. Obviously, pay your taxes, and obviously Ross wasn't done for tax avoidance. It's just so sad. A human life locked up, locked away. I just spent my 4,000th day in prison. I'll begin my 12th year in 2 weeks. During that time, I've tried my best to grow and be a better man. I want to use the hard lessons I've learned to make amends as a free man if I'm given the chance. 50 days until the election. Hopefully, Trump gets in for the reason to release Ross. What are your thoughts on that? Is it going to happen, or it's not going to happen at all? It's been stated that would happen. That would be one of the first things if Trump gets in. We shall see. Diving into the rate cuts, we're about 2 days away. 1 day and about 19 hours, a couple of minutes. The Fed rate cut, anticipation weighs in the crypto markets as the week kicks off. They dive into some nonsense here, which we will skip over. Bitcoin, it started the week with a 3% decline, falling below 58,400. We are at 57,880. It's absolutely glorious. I will be hidden by after we get off this live show. But The drop, it came ahead of expectations the US Federal Reserve potentially cutting rates, influencing market sentiment. The US listed Bitcoin ETFs. They saw significant inflows on Friday at over 263 million in the highest since July 2022. Let's scroll. Come on, let's get it. Bitcoin spent much of the weekend over 60K after a favorable US data fueled a rise late Friday. The Bitcoin ETFs listed in the US recorded over 263 million net inflows. However, the market slumped Monday as Asian exchanges opened for trading ahead of a key week where traders worldwide expect the Federal Reserve to make its first rate cut in over 4 years. Polymarket batters, degenerates, they are giving it a 51% chance of a 50 basis point cut and a 48% chance of 25 basis point cut, while only a 2% chance of no change. So what's all this mean? How's it going to affect Bitcoin? How's it going to affect the fiat number for our Bitcoin balance? Not straight away. Straight away, we may even get a little bit of a pullback. But it is the signal for the infinite fiat money printer to fire up and pump Bitcoin price, in my opinion. A pivot to lower borrowing costs has historically buoyed bullish sentiment among traders as cheap access to money spurts growth in riskier sectors. Elsewhere, this is hilarious. We'll dive into it just in case you are going outside the risk curve, maybe a good chart to be able to watch for anyone in this situation. Elsewhere, the widely watched Bitcoin ETH ratio, which tracks the relative movement of the two largest tokens, held a 4-year lows. We'll dive into that chart shortly. But Bitcoin, it has slipped to under 58K as the Fed faced split rate cut expectations, really as the market gone to the Fed meeting with maximum uncertainty halfway between 25 and 50 basis points. This is Mark Chandler speaking. The Fed faces split rate cut expectations as markets priced in 50% probability for 25 and 50 basis point moves respectively on Wednesday. The coming week, it's shaping up to be that rare one where markets are left guessing about the Federal Reserve's impending interest rate move. The peak uncertainty seems to have put brakes on Bitcoin's price bounce. The Fed, they are widely expected to announce an interest rate cut in September 18, kicking off the so-called easing cycle, which has historically supported risk assets, including Bitcoin. That's where my focus is. Traders, however, they are splitting the size of the impending rate cut, setting the stage for a potential volatility explosion in financial markets after Wednesday's rate decision. At press time, Fed funds rate showed a 50% chance of the Fed reducing rates 25 to 50 basis points. At the same time, markets saw a similar probability of the 50 basis points. I suspect a 50 basis points, let me scroll up, would not be good for risk assets as short term on ideas that the Fed is more concerned about the economy and would seem to acknowledge that it should have cut in July. Several analysts have warned that a 50 basis point cut could signal panic, denting demand for riskier assets, including cryptocurrency. Obviously, they're including Bitcoin in that conversation. The market, it's been settling on a 25 basis point rate cut. Before, what some suspect is a planted story, it wouldn't surprise me, I don't know if it's true or not, by Fed officials to put 50 basis points back on the table Thursday. The market, they took the bait and ratcheted up the odds of not only one, but 2 half-point cuts and a quarter-point cut in the 3 remaining meetings of the year. So if we dive over to the CME Group Fed Watch tool, 1 day, 20 hours, 12 minutes, 38 seconds. The world is watching, they're waiting for people to be able to dictate. And that's the problem with fiat. They change the rules as they go. Now, I've just gotten back from Victoria and I had a conversation, a really successful conversation, orange pill and an economist. And it sounds like she'll get me into the university as a guest lecturer to talk about Bitcoin. But the absurdity between Keynesian and Austrian economics, one being sound money and the other one just being fairy dust. And the fairy dust, the whole world is watching, they're waiting, they're holding their breath to see what happens next. So the chance of something happen next is 100% possibility that we do get an ease in the next 2 days. On the Fed Watch tool, 67% chance we get a 50 basis point cut or a 33 down to 500 to 525 basis points. We'll keep an eye open. If we continue to get more red days, absolutely love it. Make the most of it. For me, at least, you do you. But what's your game plan? Is this shaking anyone out, or are you just getting really excited? Or is everyone just bored of $58,000? As $58,000 when I was in Brisbane going, it's been $58,000 for the last 6 months, to be honest. And it's been really interesting. And I think we're about to hit it in 2 secs, so we'll bring it up if we do. But shout out to everyone watching live. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We had a big podcast planned. It has been delayed later into the week, which has worked out really good. But we'll dive into a little bit of a banter at the end of the show if you hang around. Otherwise, we'll get through the news in about the next 10-15 minutes. Now, short term, this is in regards to the rate cuts. Bitcoin's price faces significant risks due to macroeconomic factors. However, one could argue that Bitcoin will eventually recover as the cryptocurrency functions as an independent financial system and a hedge against potential government actions. We're seeing these play out here in Australia, all around the world, aimed at stimulating economies through monetary expansion. On the other hand, during times of uncertainty, traders typically seek refuge in short term, and that's why I say we could have a short-term bearish sentiment in 2 days' time. It is what it is. US government bonds, gold, and cash. We will see, though. Either way, I'm putting my dirty fiat into Bitcoin. It is number go up technology. It's also freedom technology, which is more important, especially with the way the world is. And the way the world is, we're 50 days out until the US election. Crypto super PACs, they're just pouring in millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars into the Senate races. Crypto interest groups could determine whether the Democrats or Republicans have a majority in the US Senate in 2025 by backing candidates in crucial November races. Just either smear campaigns or positive campaigns to be able to paint these political leaders either in a good light or a bad light. Now, it looks like it's been pretty effective. The Protect Progress Political Action Committee, which is PAC, has spent roughly $7.8 million to support Democratic candidates for the US Senate race in Arizona and Michigan. I'm just cherry picking a couple of things here. Their spokesman Josh said in August that the crypto super PAC intended to support candidates on both sides of the aisle who were committed to working with the crypto industry to pass responsible regulation. Depending on the outcome of the election, control of the US House of Reps, the Senate, and the presidency could change hands in 2025. Backed by crypto firms, of course, and executives, primarily Ripple and Coinbase. And we've got some pretty disturbing news from Coinbase. We've already talked about it, but they won't show anyone what the balances is, how many Bitcoin they are holding. Could they be putting paper Bitcoin out there? Without us being able to verify it, absolutely absurd. Absolutely crazy. It is what it is, but we'll dive into that shortly. Fairshake reported raising more than $169 million for the 2024 election cycle. Its expenditures may have already influenced voters in primary elections. It is starting to look like a lot of people are just making this a single issue election. Either they're for Bitcoin, they're for freedom, they allow you to self-custody, to be able to take responsibility, control, to have a Swiss bank account in your pocket, or they're not. For me, here in Australia, when they play out, that's where I'll be voting. Whoever is pro-Bitcoin, for the rest, I don't care. For me, I believe it's all a circus, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I feel like it's all scripted. What was unscripted by the IMF is El Salvador going on a Bitcoin standard and telling them to go hunt ducks. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele to present debt-free budget for 2025. Bukele, he spoke during the commemoration of 203 years of El Salvador independence. El Salvador, Bukele expects to submit 2025 government budget with no planned deficit. That was pretty incredible. 2024 budget had a $338 million deficit, and the gap when Bukele became president in 2019 was $1.2 billion. A little bit of chump change for the US, huge for these smaller nations, even for Australia, absolutely. It's a big burden. In August, the IMF announced the IMF, their name just triggers me, announced that it had different discussions with Salvadorian authorities and progress has been made in the negotiations towards a fund-supported program. President of El Salvador, Bukele, said he will submit 2025 deficit-free budget to the Legislative Assembly. I announced that this September 30, we will present before the Legislative Assembly for the first time in decades the first fully financed budget. Let's go. Well done, Bukele. Well done to El Salvador. Well done, Max and Stacey. Max Kaiser, Stacey Herbert, for everyone that has had a part to play in this. I'm sure Safedina Moose, the author of the Bitcoin Standard, that book, if you haven't read it, please do read the books or eat the bugs, is also helping out in El Salvador. But El Salvador will no longer spend more than it produces annually. What? That's absolutely insane for a country. He continued, we will not even lend money to pay the interest on the debts that we inherited. We will even pay that from our own production. Well done. Isn't this epic? Isn't that epic? A more robust economy in a truly independent country will be seen not only because it has more freedom and security, but because it will be financially independent, fiscally independent, he added. The new generations will inherit an economy, prosperous and economically prosperous country. El Salvador Finance Minister Gerson detailed that it will be the first time in decades the country will have a budget that will not issue a single cent of debt, neither local nor foreign. Although there are no official documents on El Salvador's Bitcoin purchase, the website Nayib Tracker, if you want to follow it, which put together a portfolio based on Bukele's announcements, shows Central American country currently holds 5,874 Bitcoin, a total value of $331.4 million. Nice stack as well, well done, which represents an unrealized gain of 32.6% or $43 million. And nobody's really talking about it. Mainstream media-wise, they absolutely blasted him. They bashed him. When it was down in the red, and we got 58K. Let's get it. Bummer. Hopefully we get another 57K today. Either way, after the stream, I will hit buy. But in regards to that, mainstream media just attacked Bukele, El Salvador, for going and for having a long-term vision. And then Bukele turns around and says, how do you like me now? Check it out. It's absolutely amazing. Well done putting in the proof of work, which is the work. Absolutely incredible. So it's that ETH Bitcoin chart. It goes down to the right. ETH versus Bitcoin, just an FYI. This last 2 years, it's been like that for the last 4 years. I think that trend's going to continue. Anyway, back into the signal. Bitcoin price was at 57,788. I was all excited this morning and hey, 57,930. I will take it. We will see what the spread is on the app when we go to buy and see if we can get under 58K for a little bit of fun. Either way, while we've still got this dirty fiat dollars and we can change it for the world's hardest, best money, the best form of money that's ever existed in human history, and we're here now for it, and it's only 15 years old, I think that's a pretty good deal, in my opinion. In the last 24 hours, we had a high of 59,671 over the weekend. Did have a high of 60,620 and then a low this morning, 57,558. It is going to be a volatile week, but the volatility in Bitcoin, it's the biggest feature. It's not a bug. The volatility brings people in. People get wrecked on up and to the downside using leverage. Better not to buy it, in my opinion. Just buy, stack, and chill. It's super easy. Yes, it gets pretty boring, especially at 58K, and definitely when it goes on and on and on. But the conviction, this is where I believe heroes are made. Historically, the red day is holding for a long time. You're all good. And everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. It's not just ETH. Australian house price chart and Bitcoin update for September 2024. It's the price. Starting 2014, 1,500 or more. 3,000 Bitcoin for a house. Now we're just under 10. Maybe by the end of the bull run, that comes down to what, 2, 3 Bitcoin for a medium-sized house. Be interesting. Now, in regards to Coinbase, if you're leaving your funds on Coinbase run, we've brought them up over and over again. Tony the Bitcoin Way is warning you. Simply Bitcoin is warning you. Truly, they may be the safest exchange in the world. And great, and we can hope for the best, but we need a plan for the worst, and we need to get our Bitcoin off the exchange. All this is the world's biggest honeypot at the moment. All this Bitcoin concentrate from the ETFs, institutional investors, holding it. through Coinbase. If something happens, the FBI warned us that North Korea is trying to hack this honeypot, trying to hack the honeypots that are out there, not potentially this one, but potentially this one. And whether it's North Korea or the FBI themselves or the deep state or just some nerd in his mum's basement trying to do it, they see it there. It's not safe. We are going to see over and over. This is my prediction. And I put, 99% certainty on it, that big exchanges are going to get hacked over the next 6, 12, 18 months. Having your Bitcoin on there, it's no longer your Bitcoin. Please get it off. And what Brian Armstrong's saying, first off, simply Bitcoin. Justin, Coinbase CEO, admits that they won't provide proof of reserves, so you have to trust them to store your Bitcoin. Don't trust verify. Never trust verify. Now, Brian Armstrong, Goldilocks here. The audacity. Not sure what this is all about, to be honest. All ETF mints and burns we process are ultimately settled on-chain. Institutional clients have trade financing OTC options before trades are settled on-chain. This is the norm for our institutional clients. All funds are settled in our prime vaults on-chain within about 1 business day. About. He's thrown in caveats already. If you want audits, Deloitte audits us annually. Do we trust Deloitte? Have they ever slipped up? Have they ever got an audit wrong? Can somebody fact check that, please, in the audience? Be greatly appreciated if they can. Shout out to Matthew J. Zig. Exit. In the house having a good little conversation. Willie Bot, what a name. Retro Beaver in the house. If you haven't already, if you can just smash that like button. We are over. We're at 58K. It's grand, it's glorious, and I don't know whether to absolutely love it and feel the greatest amount of joy that we're only at 58K, or be absolutely pissed off that the 58K gang yet again is in charge and we're going to see memes all day on X. Anyway, getting back to the signal. Well, sorry, it's not Coinbase. Please, the signals get your Bitcoin off the exchange. Just do it today. It's not hard. If you want audits, Deloitte audits us annually. We're a public company. I doubt our institutional clients want people dusting all their addresses, and it's not our place to share for them. This is what it looks like if you want a bunch of institutional money to flow into Bitcoin. The only reason I want institutional money here, and it is a legitimate reason, is for people that are so lazy, the sheeple out there, not anyone watching this, the people that aren't willing to put in any proof of work, that go to work, they slave away, they get paid in this money that steals their time, their energy, their life force, which is fiat currency, and the government or their company invests for their retirement on their behalf. This is what I like about the ETFs. For the lazy people, those retirement accounts have started and will continue to ramp up their Bitcoin buying. For those people, I like the institutions being here. At least they have sort of an indirect exposure to Bitcoin number go up, not the freedom aspect, but at least the number go up. And I think inflation's about to get really bad. Really bad. Like the last 4 years, I don't think that's been anything. And whether QE to infinity happens, in the next 6, 12 months or not, I believe it's coming forever. These earthquakes that we see in 2008, 2009, 2020, Japan, 4 weeks ago, the shock waves, they're building up, and I think we're in for a catastrophe. But what he goes on to say here, we'll get into it. So the ETFs, they're good for that, but if you're holding an ETF, it's just an IOU. It's like holding your money in the bank. You think it's all safe until it's not, or they close it down and they say you can't spend, you can't withdraw cash. But it's what it looks like for a bunch of institutional money to flow into Bitcoin. Okay, it is what it is. For everyone watching it, please, just the biggest thing about Bitcoin, the only thing that matters is you buy, you stack, and you chill. So the buy, turn your fiat into an exchange, KYC or KYC free, peer-to-peer lending marketplace. You stack, you put in cold storage, you get it off the exchange, you take control of it, you verify it on your own node, and then you just relax. That's as easy or as hard, as complicated as Bitcoin needs to be. At least that's the way I approach it. And I think it's the most important thing. People work so freaking hard to be able to get ahead. $58,052. What's that, like $84,000 Australian Pacific pesos? That's a lot of money for one Bitcoin. If you've gone hard to get 0.1 Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, 10, 100, 1,000 Bitcoin, whatever it is, and then you're like, I did all the hard work. It's great. I'm just gonna sit back. I'm just gonna chill. But it's still on the exchange. It's probably not going to be there when you actually need it. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. But there's a good chance it won't be. So please just get it off the exchange today. As for BTC, yes, you're trusting a centralized custodian to store the underlying Bitcoin. We never claimed otherwise. Big red flag for me. You do you. But maybe just look into what's happened with like FTX, Mt. Gox, all these centralized institutions, Celsius, 3AC. It doesn't work out real well. And I don't want that to happen to anyone. Obviously, it's up to you what you do. It's your money, and it is really real money. So it's your choice. But please don't fuck it up. Don't. It's the world's pretty crazy. Bitcoin is that life raft. It is there for freedom, for hope. And to be able to give you the freedom to be able to transact, it will lead to freedom of speech, freedom to be able to travel, freedom to be a sovereign individual the way that we're intended, the way we're designed as a human. We have that opportunity through the world's best money. Please don't leave it on the exchange. If I could make everyone do one thing, it would be that I understand I can't, and that's the hero's journey everyone needs to go on out there. But it's just so important. If you need any help, you can reach out to the Bitcoin Way. First off, they never touch your keys. They never touch your coins. They are a channel partner. They are the channel sponsor. And there's a good reason for that. Tony and the team, they will hold your hand. They'll walk through and they'll just educate you, and they can give you a health check. But if you just need a little bit of help to be able to get it from the exchange into a cold wallet through your own node, Tony and the team, they can teach you how to do it, actually empower you to be able to do it, not just do it for you and charge you a fee. It's a pay-for service, but the first 30 minutes is free. The team's incredible. 25 years cybersecurity experience, used to work under Steve Jobs there. And you can keep just going down the rabbit hole, but they're just designed to help you be that free person. And if your Bitcoin's off the exchange and you just want a health check for your setup to make sure you're doing everything right, without the fear of it ever being confiscated away, you can reach out to them, link top of the description, or thebitcoinway.com, or reach out to them on X. Just have a banter. The team's absolutely epic. Just pisses me off, these exchanges and not shown. Now, this is proper proof of work. Dennis Porter, well done. Peer-reviewed paper highlights Bitcoin mining's ability to enhance green energy biomass generation. The paper cites multiple pieces of Bitcoin research from Satoshi Action. I will repost this for everyone. It's a little bit too in-depth to go through with the fast facts this morning. But having peer-reviewed journal articles, having the science around us, and I understand a lot of Bitcoiners, myself included, when they say, hey, trust the science, trust me, bro, we're like, no, not at all. And this the problem that I have with this misinformation, disinformation bill that is trying to be passed here in Australia. And the scandemic, they said the jab was safe. And everyone on X, the misinformation, disinformation said, no, it wasn't. For certain reasons, or here are the side effects. These things are probably a little bit better, more effective. Mainstream media, no, that's misinformation, disinformation. Well, in hindsight, we found out most of that, like 99% of what the misinformation, disinformationists were saying, or those people that were labeled, were actually speaking the truth. So when it comes to interacting with that entity, that circus that we call government, in general, regulation, policy, they do need things that are backed by science, that have gone through a peer-reviewed process, that are published in journals for many reasons. The peer review process is absolutely insane, extraordinary, and they push back. And yes, some of it with different things, food and stuff, has been bought out, paid, biased. But that's the system that they like. That's the system that they want. And when it comes to Bitcoin, the people that are reviewing it, probably a lot of them, because most people are antagonistic for whatever reason against Bitcoin, they're pushing back and they're really making sure that the author or the publishers of these peer-reviewed papers are really putting forward a concise argument. So for once something becomes peer-reviewed and it comes out, it's pretty epic, and it's another tool that we can put in our tool belt. So well done, Dennis Porter, the Satoshi Action Fund. That's absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. Coldcard or Jade Wallet. Don't F around with your generational wealth. 100% retro beaver. Don't really know much about the Jade Wallet. Coldcard's really good. The foundation device is really good as well. It's up to you where you put it. Do your own research. If you need help, obviously the Bitcoin way can help you. They won't tell you which one to buy. They can present some different options, but it's super basic. Air gapped, Bitcoin only, open source, minimum. And then talk to the Bitcoin community and find out. BTC Sessions has done heaps of reviews around the different hardware options out there. If you need to piece together some research out there as well, definitely recommend you check them out. Check it out. Check that out. That's epic. That's pretty bloody exciting, to be honest. Let's hit refresh because we're $58,000 on the block clock, and I don't like it. I like the 57K. 57K in play. It's epic. 58,002. Stuff you time chain calendar. No, I love it. Check out this. This is pretty cool. 861,610. That's the block height. Every 10 minutes, roughly, we get a new one. But it's pretty interesting. Last block, 34 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Fees, good time to, or priority is getting a little bit high. It's getting a little bit up there. But anytime, 4 sats per VByte. I think it's only going to go up. So if you need to consolidate any UTXOs, it's been better over the week. We will have some times, I think, where it cools down. I don't think there'll be too many times left, or it's always just good to be able to plan, prepare. Now, the average block time lasts 24 hours, 10 minutes and 41 seconds, 54 blocks, slow. And the hash rate, whoa, wow, that's huge. It's dropped nearly 12% in the last 24 hours. I wonder why. That's absolutely insane. Does anyone know why the hash rate, nearly 12% of the miners have just switched off or come off, or there's something going on with time chain calendar? That's extraordinary. I don't really know if I've seen that since the China mining ban. Does anyone know why? That's hectic. That's pretty incredible. Maybe like Bitcoin just keeps on working, which is even more incredible. But that's a lot of miners just gone. I wonder why. Only 131 out of 144 blocks in the last 24 hours. Mempool is still, it's been like this forever. Since the start of the year, it's been like over 150, between like 150, 200,000 plus unconfirmed transactions. The rewards, the transaction fees, they're making up little. I wonder if we'll get more nonsense, more altcoins on Bitcoin, to say it nicely. Now, this is absurd what happened over the weekend. Second assassination attempt, barely moving Trump's poly market odds. But isn't it insanity? It's happened nearly twice now. Is the world like this crazy scripted movie that we're watching, and we have no idea what the plot line is, and they're just making the plot up as they go? It's like a create your own adventure book where you can just choose which path, but they've got it all laid out, or they literally are just making it up as they go. Or this may just tinfoil hat at the moment. It seems insane, absolutely insane, that we are watching this play out, and who knows what the truth is. Are we ever going to know what the truth is? But nearly 1 billion has been staked on the election of the crypto-based prediction market, and then they go on to talk about being a degen in regards to it. It's obviously a sales funnel here through this news analyst, but just diving into the second assassination attempt, isn't it like literally, it's just absurd that we are in a world like this where we think we can just take out other people. Like, how's anyone get to that place? What brainwashing is going on for that to happen? Both sides. There shouldn't be any political violence. I'm against violence in general. I was in Melbourne last week for a day and I saw a guy. It was pretty brutal. I won't dive into it. But the world's pretty messed up. Fear's pretty messed up. And I think a lot of the issues with governments in general trying to control the population, just the pain, the crising, the housing crisis, the homelessness crisis, the cost of living crisis that's going on, all of this is fixed or it's better on a Bitcoin stand. We're starting to see that play out with El Salvador. But on this fiat system, the whole world feels mad, and especially in the cities. I just don't get it. I guess it's not my nature. I enjoy boxing, having a good one-on-one spar, but not this just brutality that's going on everywhere. It just shows that the world's in a whole lot of pain, and it's absolutely fucked up, and it's sad, and it's tragic. And there is an option. Bitcoin actually does fix this. Takes a long time, 100 hours of research minimum, then 1,000. But then when that light bulb goes off, at least for me, you realize that there is hope. There is a better way. And life just gets better on a Bitcoin standard. It's incredible. But people aren't really paying attention. This what these markets, at least are signaling to me, is it's just a non-issue. We've just gotten so used to the ex-president, Donald Trump, a potential president, almost being taken out twice now, and nobody cares. And it's pretty much scrubbed from the news, or it's labeled misinformation, disinformation. There's some crazy conspiracy theories there in regards to BlackRock commercials and things like that. I'm not sure. It's just strange. I don't know. I don't know if it's a horror or a comedy or a bit of both. But Donald Trump, he survived an apparent second assassination attempt over the weekend. Let me just have a quick glass of water. This morning, spring water. Always good to add a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. Definitely not tap water. That stuff's poisonous. But the US Secret Service, they found a man hiding in the bushes with an assault rifle at Trump's golf course in Florida while the former president was playing, while a gunman identified as Ryan of Hawaii didn't fire a shot. The very notion of a second attempt during the presidential campaign created headlines like this from The Economist. Another attempt on Donald Trump's life will shake up the election. That was later changed to another attempt to kill Trump raised fear of political violence. Maybe editors of the magazine took a look at the crypto-based prediction market, poly market, where election trading is about to hit 1 billion because bettors are brushing off this incident as a non-issue. They just don't care. It's absolutely insane. The probabilities there are based on how much traders are willing to pay for shares that pay out money if the predictions come true and become worthless if they don't. Just talking about this because it's pretty interesting. It sort of relates to the misinformation, disinformation bill. Bets on Polymarket are programmed into a smart contract on the Polygon blockchain paid out in USDC, a dollar-linked token. Now, this is what I'm getting at. Under a regulatory settlement, the platform, it blocks US users, although there's some crafty American traders. They've used VPNs to get around the geo-fencing. VPNs to get around geo-fencing. Maybe that's the takeaway of this whole article. VPNs to get around geofencing. Maybe it may or may not be needed. If you do have a good recommendation for a really epic VPN and you are watching live or you're watching the replay, let us know in the comment section and share that knowledge for people. If you're one of those crafty American traders, just someone that just says no to the control that has been placed on people to be able to choose what you do. Be great to be able to hear what you think. Now, 20x leverage, it is incoming. I bring this up as a PSA. It's your money, it's your choice. Do as you please, but LogX, a perpetual futures crypto trading protocol, that raised $4 million to expand its leverage prediction markets. Most people, like probably higher than 90% of people going 20x leverage, get absolutely fucked. And if you're not getting laid or whatever, you can buy Ethereum, you can go 20x long, 20x short, or if you're just happy to chill, you can just enjoy Bitcoin at 58K, but you do you. this is not going to work out for a lot of people. And I think that's due more to that fiat mindset, that pain that's going on. Now, shout out to Michael Dunworth. Absolutely love this guy. Putting in the proof of work. He did an Ironman personal best, 4 hours, 44 seconds. He did share this with me. What a happy camper. This guy, the reason Michael Dunworth is so amazing, and I'm not sure if you know, we've done a video. He created a multi-billion-dollar exchange over in the US. Anyway, sold that. But he came back, and there's all this FUD about Bitcoin and the reward like in 100 years' time. That the reward wouldn't incentivize miners to keep mining Bitcoin. So Michael time-locked Bitcoin, his own Bitcoin. He sent it into the future. He published a Medium article with the keys in there. And the point is to just squash that FUD, that the transaction fees aren't going to incentivize the miners. Now there's Bitcoin waiting there in the future that the world can see. You can see it now. You can follow Michael Dunworth on X. You can watch that podcast we did. And we dive really deep into it. He just did that out of the goodness of his heart to be able to get people to shut up in regards to the miners are not going to be able to protect the Bitcoin in 100 years. He's like, screw you guys. I'm just going to send Bitcoin out into the future. I'm going to publish the keys. I'm going to time lock it. And then hopefully the whole world gets together and they work in these pools to be able to get, and whoever gets it's going to be an extraordinary amount of money. Is fiat even going to exist then? I don't know. But the dude's a champion, nonetheless. Well done, Michael Dunworth. And you're probably a little bit more familiar with his brother, Peter Dunworth. Thinks Bitcoin's going to $7 billion. But those two together, I love catching up with them. The dude's epic. And this here, I gave him a shirt last time I saw him. He wore that at the Ironman, sending the Bitcoin signal, putting in the proof of work. And you see a lady there in the background reading it. Buy, stack, and chill. That's what it says on the back of it. Send the signal. Anyway, let's carry on. Well done, Michael. Oh, this is crazy. Anyway, I want to give people a little bit of a warning before we dive into this. So we've covered predominantly the news, what's happening. Michael Saylor, he's put out another, here, let me just recap real quick. $700 million convertible senior notes, proposed private offering. So that's happening. Currently, he's buying about $900 million worth of Bitcoin. Probably hear about that in another 2 weeks that he has finished buying the Bitcoin. We've got Bukele just being an absolute goat, telling the IMF to GFY. Peter Schiff is warning that huge amounts of inflation are coming. I absolutely agree with Peter on this one. But the fiat system is broken. It's dying. Greg Foss is back. He is a little bit more active. Bhutan is holding a lot. So that's the main news. The rate cuts, they are coming in like 1 day in like 18 hours time. We could potentially get more of a dip. Hopefully, that's what I want to put out there. That's what I want. I want more red days. I want Bitcoin at $57,000. The lower, the better. 48.53 would be great. Realistically, if it came down, I don't know, 53 to 58 would be my guess, but that's just a guess. Bitcoin will do whatever the hell Bitcoin wants to do. My plan's just to buy, stack, and chill. Whether it's red or green, I really don't care. That's what's going on. After that, once they cut rates, that's really going to be the signal that QE infinity is here. The infinite money glitch is turning fiat into Bitcoin. It's time to go up technology. So that aside, now I want to dive into a little bit of free speech. Obviously, here in Australia, the misinformation, disinformation bill, there's no other way to say it, but it's absolutely fucked up. It is designed to be able to silence you and I. It protects the government's mainstream media and academia in general, or the universities, or select crafted messages that come out. And independent news creators like myself, people that are posting on X, their voice could potentially be shut down if this dystopian bill goes through. And it's not just here in Australia, this is happening. For me, with a little bit of tinfoil hat, and sorry if you're not into conspiracies, but the conspiracy theorists over the last 4 years, it's taken maybe like 6 weeks from it to go from a conspiracy to fact. maybe a little bit longer, but pretty much everything they've said that got labeled misinformation, disinformation turned out to be true, and it's the mainstream media that was putting out the propaganda, the programming to be able to control the sheeple, and they just don't give a fuck, is my opinion. They just don't care, and this is coming from the World Economic Forum. The WEF, the people that want you to eat the bugs, own nothing, and be happy. That's literally their agenda. If you haven't already read it, read Klaus Schwab's book, The Great Reset. He tells you everything he wants to do. These people are absolutely sick. They may be in their own belief feel like they have the best intention to be able to look after humanity as a whole, but fuck that. I'm my own person. They can go fuck themselves, and this is what they want to do. We'll dive into a little bit if you're willing to put up with it, but it's nice, I think, to be aware because it's the whole point of Bitcoin. The point of Bitcoin is to be self-sovereign, to be a free individual, not to be subject to this fucking bullshit. Like here in Australia, in the shopping centers, I believe it's Woolworths, they have moisture-infused meat. They're injecting water into the fucking meat. Like meat, steak and eggs is the world's health food and they're fucking with it. That's just one thing. Fiat economy, they print the money forever and now they're trying to silence free speech. They say the sun is bad. All the fucking propaganda they put out, I'm sick, I'm done with it. We can opt out with it. And it's nice to know what their plan is so we can talk, we can push back, we can get our politicians involved. But also just take 100% self-responsibility, not to be subject to the tyranny, the totalitarianism. Whoever this woman is, Ursula von something is her name. Ursula von der Leyen declares the biggest threats to misinformation, disinformation. Go fuck yourself, lady. Anyway, I'll play it. Sorry I'm getting wound up this morning. This is absolutely sinister. It's sick. Thank fuck for Bitcoin.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear Klaus, let me go back.
Let me just start that again. Ladies and gentlemen, Klaus, stuff you. Stuff you, Klaus Schwab. Ladies and
gentlemen, dear Klaus, let me go back to the number one concern of the Global Risk Report: disinformation and misinformation. Tackling this has been our focus since the very beginning of my mandate. With our Digital Services Act, we defined the responsibilities of large internet platforms on the content they promote and propagate. A responsible to children and vulnerable groups targeted by hate speech, but also a responsibility to our societies as a whole. Because the boundary between online and offline is getting thinner and thinner. And the values we cherish offline should also be protected online.
I agree.
And this is even more important in this new era of generative AI. Now, the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report puts artificial intelligence as one of the top potential risks for the next decade. First of all, let's not forget that AI is also a very significant opportunity if used in a responsible way.
Yeah, resistcbdcs.com. I'm going to check out that website, but it always comes down to things like protect the children, doesn't it? It's just their go-to, and 100% we need to respect the children. If we get rid of some of this woke mind virus that's going on, just the insanity in the world, I think people will be a little bit more mentally stable, and maybe this a little bit insensitive brushing over. If you're having a hard time, please reach out to someone. I'm not talking about just struggling, but the insanity that's going on in the world that gives rise to hate speech. We should cherish traditional values. I understand that, but we should be able to choose who we do and do not and to converse with. In a conversation in real life, like in the city, you can either start yelling at people and take a chair to somebody's face, or you can just walk away, you can shake their hand and say, hey, respectfully, I think we can agree to disagree on it. But to just be able to shut down all conversation that opposes their party line, to be able to have different ideas, to have discourse, fuck them. And it always comes down to the children. 100% respect the children, protect the children. but we don't need the government of the World Economic Forum to come in and do it for us. They just want to control everything. But we have Bitcoin, so it really doesn't matter. You can get a plan B. You can lock everything down. You can just be a free individual. For everyone else that's not on the Bitcoin standard and self-custody, I think you're fucked. That's truly what I believe. And I'm sorry if you're holding it all in the ETF, you're holding on an exchange. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, I don't know. Maybe I've gone too far down the rabbit hole, but that's where I'm at mentally. I'll do everything I can to be able to push back this grand, glorious country, but it's nice just to be able to have the option to be, see you later, I'm done. Anyway, a little bit more. King Richard, protect the children from what? An opinion they don't like? It's fucking crazy, isn't it? Absolutely insane. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. They want to control what you say, which controls what you think, what you see. It's hectic. What other word is there for it? Dystopian, totalitarian, tyranny. Feels like a dictatorship. A new world order, one world government.
In essence, what this bill, if it's passed, is going to do is shut down free speech for Australian non-mainstream media digital content providers. So there will be no avenue to escape that dragnet. So to give your listeners and your watcher viewers some sort of idea, this bill has been out for public consultation in an exposure draft earlier in the year. It was widely canned. It had something like 23,000 submissions back to the minister, none of which were really released. But that doesn't happen unless people are worried. What we've got now is the new version, which may also be equally as bad, if not pruned around the edges. And what it's going to do is create a legislative framework for misinformation. That is, information online which is shared, which is said to be reasonably verifiable as false and misleading and causing serious harm. The government, in their explanatory memorandum, used the example of public health as through the COVID period as an example of where misinformation was spread. And the example they used to show misinformation was the fact that people were spreading Donald Trump's statement about injecting bleach to defeat COVID and how dangerous that was to people. Of course, that was completely debunked. I mean, only this government could use misinformation in order to prosecute the case of misinformation, but it highlights the point exactly. Misinformation ultimately is in the eye of the beholder. This is going to become a ministry of truth. It's going to become an absolute death knell for freedom of speech in this country. And without freedom of speech, there's no freedom at all.
Could not agree more, Senator Alex Antic. I think he puts out some really base content. Obviously, he's labelled a right-wing loon by the mainstream media, by the left, and this left versus right, fucking red versus blue. It's absolutely insane. It's tyranny or our freedom. We've got one or the other. I do see Exit there in the chat. There are places for the ETF. Yeah, 100%. We talked about where I see him at the start. And then it is dangerous to hold millions on paper in a safe box. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But there are many, many different ways to be able to lock down your Bitcoin and whatever path, but not having any Bitcoin self-custody. For me, I think that's fucking scary. If you've got, like someone could work their whole life and they've got a stack, you've done really well, and you hold that in self-custody and you do the ETF or whatever. It's your money, it's your choice. Do as you please. But for the people that are just like, no, I got on the ETF, I hold Bitcoin. You don't. The only time you actually hold Bitcoin or it's yours is when you control the private keys to it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think for the majority of people, though, they should be holding Bitcoin in self-custody offline and then do everything you can protect it. If you need help, obviously, the Bitcoin way. That's the news with the fast facts. So I'm going to dive into a little bit of a banter or read through your comments this morning. 58k. We're always just at 58k. It's grand and glorious. What a way. Hopefully we get a little bit of a drop. I'll be watching. I'll be trying to time. $57,999 if we can get it. Mike, shout out Retro Beaver. And if you haven't already, just tap the like button, the share button over on X, whatever it is, and hit subscribe. If enjoy this content. We do have that podcast with Dr. Sean Baker. It should be happening later this week. He had a photo shoot to go to. It was meant to happen exactly now. But we'll get through the banter, and then I'm going to get off to the gym. And totally unrelated, but not really. It's actually 100% related. Today I'll be doing 30 days of strict carnivore. So just steak and eggs for the next 30 days. I'm fucking so excited. It's just, there's nothing better. There is nothing better. Steak, eggs, and jerky. I'll be eating a lot of jerky as well. It's dried steak. But fuck. It's let us know, like, what's the longest period? I think like the longest period I've ever done is either like 5 or 7 days totally clean. I don't know. I'm just so excited for it. What better way? Steak, eggs, and get a whole lot of sun, sand. It's all gravy. But anyway, if you've done anything like that, if you've gone down these funny little rabbit holes, let us know. I'm so interested. It's nice to be able to just hack our own bodies and find out what allows us to think the clearest, have the most amount of energy, and present the best as we can, and grow and feed the body what it needs to be able to build itself back up. But Mike, Retro Beaver in the house, Bitcoin defrays. Hey Sean, where is everyone? Mate, you just like hopped in so quick, but they're all here now. All the legends are in the chat watching live, or they're watching the replay. Jake Thomas, 02, evildoers are 02, and remember, it's always the darkest before the dawn, 100%. Hey, Room, good to see you. Simon Picala in the house. How you doing, brother? How is everything? Hopefully it's all gone well, and it's back on this trajectory after that hard time that you went through. Can't always catch the live, but always do listen back. Keep up the good work, mate. Peace. Truly appreciate you, and hopefully everything's well, brother, for you and your family. Bitcoin Buddha, g'day and good morning, you legends of the underworld. Fucking love it. Good morning, Bitcoin Buddha. Johnny Midas Greens from San Diego, California. G'day, Johnny. How? What's the weather? What's the season there? Like here, I'm in board shorts and a shirt, and it's pretty bloody warm. It's pretty bloody humid. But then in Victoria, 2 days ago, there's snow on the top of the mountain. There's hail. You're like, is this even Australia? Absolutely crazy. Going into spring and the flowers everywhere is beautiful. When you get out of Melbourne, and you don't even need to go far, but when you get out of Melbourne, Victoria, what a grand and glorious state. It's really special. It's really incredible. But we chase the seasons and the flowers and the leaves and stuff. We've gone to the States twice just to look at fall. Wow, we don't have it like that here. Absolutely incredible. Blue Ridge Parkway, what an epic place in the world. But are you going into it now? Is that right? It's so hard being on the opposite side of the world. Zig. Oh, it's just how my brain doesn't work. I was going to say how my brain does work, but maybe how it doesn't work. Earthbum Spranza, good to see you this morning. Good to see you. Exit. Crypto Gator, made the live show. It's good to see you again. Whitney, baby, calling BlackRock the boogeyman big time. She still unnerves me. I really want to talk to her and have a conversation. BlackRock's done some pretty shady stuff in the past. There's like no kidding about that. Their whole purpose in life is just to make money. That's it. And in any way they possibly can, with whatever narrative they can. Can they control Bitcoin? Can they manipulate it? Can they put out paper Bitcoin through Coinbase? I guess yes, in a way they could. Is that why we're at $58,000? I don't think so. Like we're just following normal market cycles. Like we're within the average of the trend. But what Whitney says in regards to things in the deep state and Peter Thiel and Palantir and Elon Musk and all that, it can be pretty shocking. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin and self-custody just does not give a fuck. It just doesn't care. And she could say everything and it could all be true. And Bitcoin's still free to money. It's still number go up technology. You just need to do it the right way. Run your own node, air gap wallet, have it off the exchange as a start, and then keep doing it. It is insane. It's interesting to watch. It's almost like fear porn. Is that the right word? I don't know. But yeah, I read it, I watch it. A mate that's riding the cryptos always sending me things. I'm like, it actually just doesn't matter. Either way, if the NSA created Bitcoin, or not going off in a different tangent, it doesn't matter. Bitcoin's out there. It works. You can use the technology, the tools to be able to be free. Whitney doesn't fully understand Bitcoin, although I admire her distrust in the government. She has a lot to learn about the world's greatest asset. 100% retro beaver. That's the way I see it. Sad to see Ross's message compared to SPF's latest request for a retrial. No remorse at all. Yeah. And SPF, like in regards to it, is he just like another deep state agent? Like absolutely insane. These, I don't know, maybe they are super geniuses that went through it. But yeah, it's crazy. It's night and day. And it's pretty humbling to see the messages from Ross in a pretty dark place, you know, the jails in any country, locked up, and everyone's one stupid law away from that, or one bad decision away from that. So I guess it's always good to be able to walk with intention, with integrity, and do the best, and then become the best, like what Ross is doing now. But what a good guy, and I hope Trump gets in just to be able to free him. The guy's been in there long enough, in my opinion. It's fucking too long. Absolutely insane. Absolutely absurd. SPF, you know, was it his plan, or was he just the scapegoat, or the central figure doing it? I don't know. I don't really like anyone in jail, to be honest, but what I dislike more is people, you know, hurting other people through greed in a way that's not going to benefit the individual, you know, or the collective. It's absolutely insane. The world's fucked up, and that's fear. Not a person I'd listen to. Let's fucking go. Matthew J. Bukele is a true leader. Bukele's a fucking goat. What a guy. What, like, I find it hard to pay respects to any politician, but at the end of the day, these people are just people, and there's good and bad people, and Bukele looks like a fucking top G. What he's doing in that country, well done. Like, what a fucking legend. The work that Max has done, I put out I asked Max a question yesterday. He didn't get back to me. I'm not surprised, and no couple of hard feelings, Max. Come on, man. I want to know what his daily life is like. We see the videos of him partying, being happy, all the social media stats, like, great, like fucking well done. But what's he actually doing? How's his day look like? Like, what meetings, what conversations are happening? Where's he going to be able to spread this? Because Max has had a huge influence in Bukele's life and El Salvador's life. Same with Safe Dina Moose, I believe. Please, like, if you haven't read the Bitcoin Standard, can you let me know? And please let me know why. I understand it's a little bit thick, but it's the Bitcoin Standard. It's better than the gold standard. It's literally, it is what it says it is. It's the best book. It's the Bitcoin Standard. But Safety also jumping in there. It's incredible. These people getting together, align themselves with truth, with integrity, with the world's hardest, best form of money, and changing the way that El Salvador is. It's absolutely amazing. It can happen everywhere around the world. It really just doesn't take that much. It's insane. Like, it's absolutely insane. And for any country that won't make Bitcoin just legal tender, I feel like it's because they hate us. They just want to be able to keep control of their dying fiat system, which keeps people enslaved, which allows people, which keeps people controlled. And it's all right to earn fiat. It's all good. It's the medium of exchange that's out there, that's abundant, that's everywhere, and there's fucking unlimited amounts of it. So there's no problem providing value and grabbing as much of that as possible. But if you're just to save in their slave dollars, they're just inflated away and they steal all that time back that you put in. But you can just be clever, at least for me. Grab the fiat, put it into Bitcoin, and you lock that time, and then you're rewarded in the future for that time. Like, every 4 years, your time, you get twice as much back in purchasing power, minimum. Fuck yeah, I'm up for that. Don't overcomplicate it. Stay humble, stack sats. Life gets cheaper and better over time. 100% it does. And for anyone just tuning in, $57,992. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. What a grand and glorious day. We'll go for a couple more minutes and I want to smash by that. Oh, fuck yes. That's what we live for. Anything under 58K, anything under 100K is a bloody good deal. Anything under $1 million, if you're willing to have a huge amount of patience. And I think that's something with you learn. So if we just start looking at like 60K and then 74K and then 100K as these milestones, but it just expands. And we will go like this at some stage and then we'll come down. Do we come down lower than where we are now or higher than where we are now? I don't know. And it actually doesn't matter because this is a separation of money and state. But Matthew J, fucking 100% on point. Sorry about the profanity. The WEF got me fired up and ready to go to be able to smash Bitcoin and defund these kleptocrats. Anyway, they exerting quite the control at this early stage. Nice of them still stacking. Smash the like. Greatly appreciated. Dennis says 85K next level. Did he really? Maybe. Hey, he's fucking been cooling. Just been cooling 58K forever. So let's see if he's ready to flip the script. Linda, good morning. It's good to see you. What a grand and glorious day it is, hey? McLovin, g'day. Good to see you, McLovin. Retro Beaver, we went through that. Coldcard or Jade, they're good options there. Belize Hoddle, living in paradise, man. Or woman, I'm assuming, stereotyping, Belize, either way. Human, fellow human being. Let's be PC. And I'm all for being PC and paying respect. If someone wants to be called whatever they want to be called, I will call them that out of respect when I'm conversing with them. In general, I have my own beliefs, and that's fine. But as a human, I'm willing to hold to opposing beliefs in my mind at the same time. And I try to do that more and more and more. And in regards to the WEF, like, maybe it's all good. Maybe it's all good. I'm willing to think that. I'm willing to fucking hope for it. I will hope for it. But I'm planning that it's not, just in case. Jade is solid, very affordable too. Let's go. A lot of people are saying Jade there if you are looking for a hardware wallet, something to do some research on. Again, BTC sessions. We'll definitely have a million reviews, tutorials on the best things out there. Retro Beaver, this is the same advice I give. Coldcard or Jade with Sparrow Electrum desktop, 100%. And please run your own node. It's not hard, but if you want to be in control, sovereign, individual, to have your own Swiss bank account in your pocket, as Barack Obama says, you have to run it through a node, but it's a pretty bloody good option to be able to research, Matthew. There's a bit of learning curve with Coldcard, but it's worth it. Fuck yeah. There is, if you need help, again, the first 30 minutes free, the Bitcoin way, talk to them. It's well worth it. Generational wealth. When, and in my opinion, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. If it does or doesn't happen, I absolutely don't care. The quicker it gets there, it's the faster they print money and it gets harder for everyone else. So I actually don't want it to happen really quickly. I want this to be a slow, smooth transition. I don't think that's happening. I think it's going to accelerate and accelerate and accelerate. But to be able to think that it's going to be worth 10x what it is now, 20x what it's worth now, 100x now, think about that. And what then you're willing to be able to spend to be able to protect. And it's still fuck all for education or for devices to be able to do it. But 100% it will be worth it. And just the peace of mind to be able to chill at night. You bought, you're stacked, you've done those two things. You actually need to chill because the volatility or thinking that it could be confiscated, taken away or whatever or hacked, absolutely fucking insane. You don't need any of that in your life. Life's stressful enough. I don't know. You do you. Jade has better options with passphrases if you use passphrases well. How will I live my days when my FY dollar stack is ready to deploy? Soul Surfing, can you expand on FY for me, please, brother? I ask this question daily. It guides my choices. It builds my confidence and ignites my freedom. How will I live my days when my FY... I'm stuck. I'm stuck, and it's going to be real far before I get down to it, but I'll try hold that one and come back to it. Imagine if there's another candidate beside Trump, I'd be treated much differently. 100% it was. But for anyone out there, if you've got any ideas to try take anyone out, just don't. Just don't. Go talk to somebody. Go get help. Don't do it. Don't spend a life in prison. It's not helping anyone. It's absolutely insane, absolutely absurd. But yes, it would be a lot more over the media. It wouldn't be getting scrubbed. If so, here we go. Some VPN options. Matthew J. Weigard or Proton VPN. The deep state will stop at nothing to ensure Trump does not have another term. It's kind of looking that way. Lena Petrova had a fantastic interview with Professor Warwick Powell from Queensland Uni. Eloquent explanation, world economy and ramifications. Zig, if you could, and this is asking a lot, truly, but if you'd be happy to tag me on X at Sean Clark, SeanClarke911 with a link to that video, I'd love to be able to share that for the community. We'll be back to pigeons and what's left of public phones, mafia style. Let's go. Fucking ready for it. They can't shut you up on Nostr. No, and get one. It's pretty easy to have an account and either talk on there or not, but just to be able to have that and reserve your name or whatever your handle is you want. It's nice to be able to have these platforms. Take a couple of deep breaths. Who the F is we? We got a mouse. You got a mouse in your pocket. Maybe. I've no idea what that's related to. CryptoGator. Grass-fed, grass-finished beef is the only meat we buy. Bitcoin Twitter is not free speech. Nostr. I agree, but it is where the audience is, and it's where I have the most amount of fun. The signal on Nostr is much higher, and there is a whole lot less dopamine because of that. Oh, you're still at it? Yes, I need to get to the gym in 25 minutes. Back in the humidity of the north, I sure am. We can fix the money, we can help the children because parents can have the time to raise them. 100% agree. McLovin, how are you, mate? It's dangerous to hold millions on a paper in a safe box. I agree, but there's plenty of ways to be able to protect it. Hey, Sean, if the price of Bitcoin drops and stays low, smaller mining operations are sometimes forced to shut down temporarily as they cannot justify the cost of energy. The 11% drop is a lot in hash. Yeah, it is. And all the time we'll have miners shut down. And I think the price of producing Bitcoin, one Bitcoin at the moment, I saw something yesterday, it's like $75,000 or $85,000. Either way, like it's a lot higher than what it is now, an average. But nearly 12%, that's a lot just overnight shut off. That's a big farm. Catching up on the stream, so I'm not live, but wanted to chime in. Good to be able to see you. Zephyrus alive. The governments will dictate what the truth is, what could go wrong, 100%. Shout out, thanks for the super chat. Exit. Greatly appreciate it. I'm currently making my own steel phrase plate. Fuck yeah, Jason. Putting in the proof of work. Control inflation, control the money, control the people. Leo Cuss. Fuck yeah, well done. I'm celebrating 7 years Bitcoin hodl. Let's go. Congratulations for putting in the proof of work and here a lot longer than I have been. Like, fuck, what a wild ride that you've been through. That would have been getting in right at the time of the hash wars, hey? Hectic, absolutely hectic. Like since the ETFs here, the volatility's dampened down. It's become a lot more legitimate. It's like turning into a risk-off asset. Like in my opinion, the way that I'd be able to see it. So I think like the education for people that are getting out, it's heaps easier. 7 years, well done to you. Exit, well done to you as well. We should celebrate. Absolutely celebrate these milestones, not the stack, but the time of putting in the proof of work. Fuck yeah. Great show. September 19th is my 1 year anniversary on Carnivore. Let's go. I'm down 60 pounds, almost no fat left on my body. Holy shit. Wow. Well done, Thomas. A whole year down 60 pounds. That's something to be able to celebrate. That's pure proof of work. Buy, stack, and chill. As far as everyone trying to dome Trump, all I can say is the machine that is bad at that. 85,820 AUD. There we go. And we're fucking $58,000 on the dip, on the dot. Good to see you back in the studio, Sean. It's good to be back here without the shitty audio from the traveling setup. Thanks so much for putting up with me with that. You know, if you're just tuning in now, the news is the first part of the show. This is just a bit of a banter, maybe a little bit of a rant on my behalf, but I appreciate you bearing with me through it. Hit subscribe, the notification bell if you haven't already. I'm trying to take someone out. You're trying to take someone out. Grow up. Crypto Gator. Really not sure what you're getting at. Maybe say it a little bit more clearly, please. E-boot, I hear that. Stay free. Stack sats, I agree, exit. I've never longed or shorted, so no stop loss. Thanks to Max and Stacey. I've legacy Bitcoin in my cold wallet. I checked it's still there. Let's go. Where the Amiga candles gone? Well, Amiga candle, $10,000 either to the upside or to the downside. They're coming. We're going to see 10, 20, and potentially $30,000 days to the up and to the downside. Probably a couple more to the drops. Downside where it just wicks down, takes out a whole lot of leverage, comes back up. But I believe it's coming after 100K. Once we get to 100K, that's when the clown show starts. It's when it really gets fucking entertaining. Until then, everyone should just be getting ready for the game. It's this is the training season. The game, it happens, and what happens in the game, like literally just do nothing, but just psychologically prepared for it. But I believe they're coming. If they do or don't happen, we'll know pretty soon. I think next 6, 12 months would be my guess. And I did a 10-day water fast, lost 11 kilos. Holy shite, GW, that's incredible. Well done to you. Anyway, that's news, bit of a banter. It's my rip on the World Economic Forum, the disinformation, misinformation bill. But just to go all the way back to actually why we're here, it's Bitcoin. Whether it's 58,000, 65,000, 53, 48,000, it really doesn't matter. Fiat currency, it's not backed by anything. Well, it's backed by Trust Me Bro, from the government. Trust Me Bro, that they'll look after. It's also backed by the military, whatever respective military of that country, and fear of imprisonment for not paying your taxes. So it's backed by 3 things, which are all backed by trust. So really, in my opinion, it's not backed by anything. We do have Bitcoin. It is backed by energy, by proof of work. It's verifiable. It's open source. You can see everything. You can't debase it. You can't confiscate it. You can't steal it. You can't censor people with it. This is why we're here. We've got people like Bhutan, $780 million worth of Bitcoin they're holding. Bukele, $360 million, roughly it's over $300 million that they're holding. People like Michael Saylor, even BlackRock, people are coming up here and it's going from the weekends to the diamond hands. And some of these people are going to hold it forever. And some people sell it and it will be volatile. Like, fucking who cares? It really doesn't matter. Just over time, because fiat's going down, Bitcoin's just going to go up and to the right, in my opinion, forever and ever and ever. Over time. And that's the way I see it. And even if it stays at 58K, it's uncensorable, unconfiscatable. It is freedom technology. It's an epic tool to be able to have in the tool belt. Anyway, grand and glorious day. Have a beautiful day. We'll talk tomorrow. Be blessed. Peace. Oh, of course, most important, do something nice for yourself, for somebody else out there. Cheers.
Everything seemed normal. Successful businesses were functioning as they usually should. Money was being placed in the bank as savings. Life was good. Nobody notices anything funny. But 2008 hits and all hell breaks loose. Everything we thought about money and the banking was a complete lie, a complete sham, a Ponzi, a scam. The whole world fell apart and a lot of people got hurt financially. And as a result of this, the Bitcoin white paper was born. but yet the same mistakes keep happening over and over again. People are leaving money on their institutions up until the last straw, FTX, when billions of dollars were lost, families were decimated, life savings were completely wiped, and people were wondering what on earth just happened. We have an option to take full custody of our funds, and that's Bitcoin. We just have to learn the process. It's not hard. It's just something we've never had to do before. Otherwise, the same mistakes are going to keep repeating themselves, and people are going to continue to get hurt over and over and over until they learn you need to exit the system in order to protect yourselves and your loved ones.